The NHL is not ready for this. In a massive blockbuster trade, the 2023 Norris Trophy winner Erik Karlsson is officially a Pittsburgh Penguin. This is the move that Kyle Dubas was brought in to make. Now, there's two sides of this deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we'll start with the good. As I mentioned, Erik Karlsson is coming off a historic season after putting up 101 points and winning his third Norris. Karlsson turned back the clock and dictated the game on the blue line this past season. This is great news for the Penguins because last year they were so incredibly mid offensively that they finished 16th in the NHL in goals for. Mostly because their bottom six was abysmal, but bringing in Erik Karlsson will pretty much help Pittsburgh in all offensive situations this season. Whether it's transitioning off the rush or with his creativity on the blue line, the NHL will likely have a tough time containing the offense of the Penguins. The league belongs to teams who can effectively move the puck from the D zone to the O zone. So having not one, but two elite puck-moving defensemen in Erik Karlsson and Kris Letang will make defending the transition a nightmare for most teams that play Pittsburgh. Last season, Erik Karlsson led the league in D-zone carryouts, loose puck recoveries, and stretch passes among defensemen. Living and dying by the motto that the best defense is an offense, the quicker the Penguins can get the puck into the hands of Crosby, Guentzel, and Malkin, the more dangerous they become. Now let's talk about the bad. Other than Karlsson's age and contract, what happens if the theory doesn't carry over onto the ice? If there's one thing that Kyle Dubas is, it's ballsy. His moves in Toronto didn't pan out, but he always swung for the fences when most guys didn't even want to go to bat. Funny enough, Kyle Dubas now has a new core four in Pittsburgh with Erik Karlsson, Kris Letang, Evgeni Malkin, and Sidney Crosby. In theory, and on paper, this team should be able to make the playoffs and potentially dominate. But that's always been the knock on Kyle Dubas. In theory and on paper, it was supposed to work in Toronto, and it never did. Granted, Pittsburgh's core three of Malkin, Crosby, and Letang is a little bit more proven when the money is on the line, so the bet makes a lot more sense. The bottom line is that this trade is a home run for the Penguins, but sometimes things don't work out how you think. For example, does adding the best offensive defenseman in the game make the Penguins a better overall team? On paper, of course it does, but Karlsson's defensive liabilities are well documented, and considering the most successful teams in the NHL playoffs are the ones that can keep the puck out of their net, there's a good reason to doubt whether or not this makes Pittsburgh truly a better overall team. There's also the dynamic of having two number one defensemen. For years, power play one for Pittsburgh had consisted of three guys: Malkin, Crosby, and Letang. Now that's all about to change. Letang has been the guy in Pittsburgh for years, and now it'll more likely be a 1A and 1B situation between the two. This is strangely similar to when Karlsson was first traded to San Jose, and he saw a noticeable dip in production. Now, injuries did play a part in this, but he also had to share his ice time with Brent Burns. When Burns went to Carolina, Karlsson was able to take over the reins in San Jose and have a career year. In theory, this shouldn't be the same situation in Pittsburgh. The Penguins should be a powerhouse that are ready to compete in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But it's important to remember what looks great on paper doesn't always translate onto the ice. However, if everything goes according to plan and Erik Karlsson lives up to the hype, the NHL may very well have a new monster in the East. So, what do you think about the trade? Does this make the Penguins Stanley Cup contenders? Does it make them worse, better? Let me know in the comments down below. For me, I can't wait to see Crosby on the same team as Karlsson. The Penguins have always been my second favorite team because of Crosby, and to see them land a deal like this is going to be very, very exciting to watch them play this season. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down below, and as always, if you like this video and want to see more hockey breakdowns, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on notifications.